Hello, Math 7 students. We are now going to look at video number 9. Video number 9 is called Ratios of Fractions and Their Unit Rates, and we're finding it in my book on page 25. So, ratios of fractions and their unit rates. Today we are going to learn how to determine the unit rate using fractions. Okay, hopefully none of you are going, boo, it's not bad. I'll show you. The question that I want you to be thinking about is, how do you find the unit rate when the x value and the y value are fractions? Okay, so I need to do a quick review because I don't know how much you remember with working with division of fractions, because that's a 6th grade standard and I wasn't your 6th grade teacher for some of you, and so I need to know what it is you remember about this. So we're calling this a quick review. And so the quick review looks like this. We're supposed to take 1/2 and divide it by 3/4. Now there's two ways of doing this. The first thing that you need to do is you need to look at it like this. We have in our drawing a half, and this is what we have, only this portion right here. We have 1 out of 2, okay? So focusing on this section only, we're supposed to take that section and we're supposed to split it so that 3/4 is going to be the amount that we have, okay? And so basically what I like to do before I do anything else is I like to find a common denominator. So 1/2 can turn into something fourths very easily, right? And we already have fourths there. This is 3/4, which is that same amount. But if I find a common denominator, I say to myself, how do I get from 2 to 4? Well, I multiplied by 2. What I do to one side, I have to do the other, so I get 2/4, okay? So basically, what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to, and we could divide this into fourths so that we know, okay, now this is what we have, 2/4. But we need to divide it into 3/4 equal pieces. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, all we have to do now that they have a common denominator is we have to divide straight across. So everybody help me. What is 4 divided by 4? That's correct, 1. What is 2 divided by 3? It's exactly what you said, 2 divided by 3. And so our answer, what is 2/3 divided by 1? The answer is 2/3. So what I would like to do is, how would we get that if we're looking at it from this picture right here? We are saying that each one of these, if we're counting them into 3/4 of a group, then we have to say how many 3/4 are in this little bit of an amount right here. So basically, we're saying that there's 2/3 equal parts that make up what you have in this picture right here. Okay, so the key to remember here is find a common denominator. That's what you're looking for, okay? Common denominator. Okay, let's try the next one together. The next one says 3/4 divided by 1/6. So everybody put on your thinking hats right now and tell me, what is a common denominator? And if you're saying 24, don't. There's one smaller. What is smaller than 24 that both of these go into? Keep thinking, keep thinking. How many of you said 12? Nice job. I agree. 12 is the smallest one. So now we have to ask ourselves, how did we get from 4 to 12? Well, to get from 4 to 12, we multiplied by 3. What you do to one side, you have to do the other. What is 3 times 3? 9. So this fraction now becomes 9/12. They are equivalent. Does everybody see it? Okay, so now let's do the same with this guy right here. We wrote our division side, division side. How do we get from 6 to 12? That's right, you multiplied by 2. What you do to one side, you have to do the other. 1 times 2 is 2. So now this is equivalent to that. Does everybody see it? Okay, and now we also notice we have the same denominator, so now all we have to do is divide straight across. What is 12 divided by 12? 1. Nice job. What is 9 divided by 2? The exact answer, 9/2. Okay, so we know that 9/2 divided by 1 is 9/2, and if you want to know how much that really is, 2 goes into 9 how many times? 4, good, with 1 left over. So if there's 1 left over, what is our answer? 4.5, good. So the answer for that one is 4.5. Okay? How are we feeling? Like you can do it? So again, what was the key to understanding this? A common denominator. We have one more. Let's see if we can do it. Okay, I'm going to move this up so you can see my paper. So we have 5/7 divided by 1/2 this time. Okay, so remember our job. We're looking for a common denominator. So we come over here, we need a blank, divided by blank equals that. Okay, so here we go. What is a common denominator between 7 and 2? I'm thinking 14. Nice. Hope you did too. Okay, so 14 is the common denominator. So now I ask myself, how did I get from 7 to 14? What did I do? That is correct. I multiplied by 2. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. 5 times 2 is 10. So this fraction right here is equivalent to 10/14. Okay? Now the next question is, how did I get from 2 to 14? And the answer is multiply by 7. Good job. Multiply by 7. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. What's 1 times 7? 7. So this fraction is equivalent to here. And now that they have common denominators, all I have to do is divide straight across. What is 14 divided by 14? That is correct, 1. What is 10 divided by 7? That is correct, 10/7. So 10/7 divided by 1 is 10/7. And if we want to simplify it, how many 7s go into 10 evenly? 1 with 3 leftovers. So the answer for this one would be 1 3/7. Okay, so that was a quick review. I hope you guys are feeling comfortable with this. The key to understanding all of these in here is find your common denominator, okay? Maybe we should write that up there. So quick review, star, reminder, remember to find a common denominator. Okay, that's what you have to remember every single time, to find the common denominator, okay? All right, so now we're going to try it in a word problem, because you know Eureka Math loves word problems, and we're going to try to help you so that you don't feel overwhelmed with this. Okay, during their last workout, Izzy ran 2¼ miles in 15 minutes. Wow, that's pretty good. Julia ran 3 3/4 miles in 25 minutes. Each girl thought she was the fastest. Who was the fastest? So your job is to figure out who is the fastest, okay? So before we turn the page, I want you to find all the quantities. So let's read it again. During their last workout, Izzy ran 2 1/4 miles, there's a quantity, in 15 minutes, there's another quantity. Julia ran 3 3/4 miles, there's a quantity, in 25 minutes, another quantity. So you should have listed right here 2 1/4 miles, comma, 15 minutes, comma, 3 3/4 miles, comma, and 25 minutes. That's all 4 of the quantities, okay? When you have them listed, go ahead and turn the page, like me. Okay, I'm going to turn the page, get a new piece of paper so that I can show my work. And here we go. So here's what I have on my next page. Again, remember, write your title up at the top. Ratios of fractions and their unit rates. We're going to use some models. Hopefully you guys recognize this model right here. This model that I have drawn on this paper is called a double number line. I'm hoping you're remembering it from 6th grade because you learned how to draw double number lines in 6th grade. Okay, so let's briefly review them. Remember, double number lines have 2 number lines. Okay, and the 2 number lines represent the 2 quantities. And in this one, we know that Izzy is running miles and minutes, or miles per minute. So I put miles on the top, and I put minutes down on the bottom. Okay, and if you look very carefully, you'll understand what it says. So I have these divided into fourths, so there's 1 mile, fourths, there's 2 miles, fourths, there's 3 miles. The reason why I divided them into fourths is because that's what it said the quantities were. It said in the first one that Izzy ran 2¼ miles, or 2¼ miles in 15 minutes. So if you look on here, I drew 1 mile, 2 mile, and then I put 15 minutes down here. What goes up here? That's correct. You should have 2¼ written right there. Okay? Now let's show what Julia did. Julia ran 3¾ miles in 25 minutes. I'm sorry, it went into the crack of the book. But right here, you need to write 3¾ because that's how many she has. 3 and 1, 2, 3, and 4 fell off the page over here. But we know that this says 3¾ in 25 minutes. All right, so now by using the double number line, we have to be able to figure out who is the fastest runner. Okay, now some of you are going, oh my gosh, this is really, really, really scary. It's not, okay? Let's talk a minute about fourths because this is going to be really helpful to you, okay? I want you to notice something. I'm going to change the color because I want you to see this and I want it to stick out. So this one right here happens to be 1/4. Count them with me. This one is 2/4. This one is 3/4. This one is, count it with me, 4/4. This one is 5/4. All we're doing is counting. 6/4, 7/4, 8/4, 9/4, 10/4, 11/4, and 12/4. Hopefully you're all with me, okay? Now what we need to do is we need to figure out how many Izzy ran. I don't know, I'd like to do it in one because we could find that in common, and once we figure out how many minutes it took her to run 1 mile, that would be really, really helpful. So we can actually turn this into a fraction as well because 15 minutes. Well, what does 15 minutes represent? Let's look on a clock really quick. I'm going to draw a picture of a clock on my scratch paper so you can see what I'm talking about. So everybody look right here on a clock. Okay? We know this is the 12. We know this is the 3. We know this is the 6. And we know this is the 9. Okay. When our longhand is on the 12, how many minutes is that? It is 0 out of 60. Yes or no? When the longhand moves over to here, and now the longhand is here, how many out of the 60 minutes have we gone? That's right, we went 15 out of the 60 minutes. Keep going. Down here, how many of the 60 minutes have we gone? That is correct, 30 out of the 60. Keep going. How many have we gone? That is correct, 45 out of the 60. And then when it goes all the way back up, another one that it could be is it could be 60 out of 60, right? If you go all the way around. Okay, so we now see fractions on this one. So the question is, could we turn this right here into a fraction? And the answer is yes. We could write this as 15 out of 60. Okay, so our job is to figure out how we're going to find this amount right here. This is what we're looking for, is right here. So hopefully you guys are remembering how we use double number lines, but let's draw a quick one of a smaller version. So I want to get to 4/4. That's what I want to get to. Right now I'm sitting at 9/4. And I know that this amount is 15/60. So the question that I have to ask myself is, how did I get, so 4/4, can you see what I'm writing, times what number equals 9/4? That's what I'm trying to find out. So in order to do that, I take 9/4 divided by 4/4. Well, kiddos, that's not hard because it's already got a common denominator. So what is 4 divided by 4? The answer is 1. Good job. What's 9 divided by 4? That is correct, 9/4. So 9/4 divided by 1 is 9/4. And that gives me the answer of 4 goes into 9 one time with 5, no. So it can't go one time. Think, Mrs. Nelson. How many times can 4 go into 9? 2 times. That's right. 2 times 4 is 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. So it would be 2 1/4. Okay? So we know that 2 1/4, or 9/4, let's just leave it. 9/4 is what we times it by. So what you do is you have to take 4/4 times 9/4 to get 9/4. Well, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. But we don't know what's right here, do we? But we do know that we have to multiply it by 9/4. So, same thing. The question is, what number times 9/4 gives me an answer of 15/60? And I don't know. I have no idea. But I can figure it out by dividing this by this. So I'm going to take 15/60 divided by 9/4, and I'm going to get the answer. But how do we do this? We have to find a common denominator. That's right. So we're going to do something divided by something gives me something. And the common denominator between 60 and 4. Well, let's see if 4 can go into 60. Let's try it. So 60 divided by 4. 4 goes into 6 one time. Can you see my work? And that is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. Bring down the 0. Oh, 4 goes into 20 5 times. Oh, 15. So yes. Okay. So we're already at 60, so let's leave that one at 60. So this fraction is the same as this fraction, to practice what we did on the other side. This is 60. How did I get from 4 to 60? Come back over here. How many? 15. Good. So multiply this by 15. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So now I have to take 15 times 9, and I get 45. Regroup the 4. 9 times 1 is 9. 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's 135. So 135 goes up here. Okay? Is everybody with me? This is just like what we did before. 60 divided by 60 is 1. 15 divided by 135, that's exactly the answer, 15 135ths. The only thing we could do with this is we could simplify it, so we get 15 135ths, because 15 135ths divided by 1 is 15 135ths, but we can actually divide both sides by 5 to make it smaller, which would be nice. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 135 divided by 5, I cannot do that in my head, so I'm going to show my work, and that gives me 10. 13 minus 10 is 3. Bring down my 5, that's 35, that's 7. So I know it's 27. Hey, we can find it even smaller. Hold on. 3 goes into 3 how many times? 1. 3 goes into 27 how many times, everybody? 9. So what is our answer? 1/9. So this box right here is 1/9. 1/9. So for 1 mile, it takes her 1/9 of a minute. 1/9 of a minute. I wonder how many that is. 1/9 of a minute. 60 seconds are in a minute, right? 1/9 of 60. That would be 60 over 1, so that would be 60 divided by 9. 9 goes into 60 6 times, that's 54, so 4/9. So 6 minutes and 4/9 of a minute. So 6 4/9 of a minute. That's what that means. Wow. Okay, so that tells me to go 1 mile, it takes her, 6 4/9 minutes. To go 2 1/4 miles, it takes her 15 minutes. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. Kind of. Yeah. All right. That was a lot of work, wasn't it? You guys are probably going, I don't like doing this. Well, it is a lot of work, but it is doable, and you guys have to do it because it's a standard. So let's try the next one. We're trying to figure out, again, put in our identifying marks. So this is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, 8/4, 9/4, 10/4, 11/4, 12/4, 13/4, 14/4. What is this one? 15/4. That's right. Okay. So we know that she can travel, Julia can travel 15/4 in 25 minutes. And remember, 25 minutes is 25 out of 60 for an hour. Okay, so we can do the same thing. We'll put that over 60 to help you remember we're thinking out of an hour. All right, so it looks like we're trying to figure out how did you get from 4/4 to 15/4. So we show it like this. We're doing fractions, division by fractions. Now you see why we had to learn how to do this. So we have 15/4 divided by 4/4 gives me what? And since they're a common denominator already, we can go. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 15 divided by 4 is 15/4. So we know the answer is 15/4. So right here is 15/4. That's what we're multiplying it by. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So now we're going to say what number times 15/4 equals 25/60. 25/60. And we already know that 4 goes in there even, so we're going to write 25/60 divided by 15/4 equals, but we have to find a common denominator. So common denominator work looks like this, and we know 60 is our common denominator, so this one is already built, so it's 25/60 because you just have it. 4 times what? Turn the paper over. It was 15, so 4 times 15 times 15, and we get 4 times 50 is 60. 15 times 15? Holy moly, let's do it. 15 times 15, 25. Regroup the 2, 5, 7, 5, 1, 5, 12, 2. Aha, 225. Yikes. So 60 divided by 60 is 1. 25 divided by 225 is just that, 225. So now we're going to come over here. 25 225ths. We're going to divide that by 5. Try. Okay. We get 5, and then 225 divided by 5. That goes 4. Put 2 left. Bring down the 5 and 5. So now we have 5/45. Well, that can go again, can't it? Divide by 5 again. And we get 1/9. Oh my goodness. Kiddos. Oh my goodness. Look. Again, what is it? 1/9, which we already figured out was how fast? 6 4/9 minutes. Huh. Cool. So, boys and girls, look. Who's the faster runner? Neither. It's a tie. So they were running at the exact same speed. Who knew? Not us until we figured it out. So the answer is neither one is faster. They tied. Okay? So is that horrible? Yes, I know. You're all saying, yes, Mrs. Nelson, that was horrible. It really wasn't. You just have to be patient and keep trying. Okay? I know it's a lot of work, but I think you can do it. Okay, we have one more problem that we're going to try. Okay? It says, a turtle walks 7/8 of a mile in 50 minutes. What is the unit rate when the turtle's speed is expressed in miles per hour? Oh, okay. So I would like to write a ratio first to help us on our way with this. And the way that we write a ratio to help us on our way with this is, let's do this color real quick. And we're going to do turtle walks 7/8 of a mile per 50 minutes. So we're comparing mile to minutes, right? Okay, so we have 7/8 of a mile in 50 minutes. Okay, But it says that she doesn't want us to do that. It says a turtle walks 7/8 of a mile, so almost a whole mile in 50 minutes. What is the unit rate? So we're looking for unit rate when the turtle's speed is expressed in miles per 1 hour. So what they're wanting us to do is convert from minutes to hours. So we have miles, which is still going to be the same, but this time we're going to put hours. And here's my question. If you only have 50 minutes out of an hour, what does that mean? You have 50/60ths, right? So in order to do this, we have to say 7/8 of a mile in 50/60ths of an hour. Everybody with me? So now we're going to do this one more time. 7/8 of a mile, and we're going to divide both of these by 10, and when you do that, you get 5/6 of an hour. And now it's asking us to find the unit rate, so we have to say, how do we get from there to 1? Okay? So what in the world do we have to do to this fraction right here to get to 1? Well, watch. I don't know if you've ever learned, so 7/8 divided by 5/6, and we're trying to make this into a 1. Have any of you ever learned how to multiply by the reciprocal? The reciprocal means you take the fraction and flip it over. So I'm going to multiply this by the reciprocal. Now watch what happens. It's really cool. What is 5 times 6? 30. What is 6 times 5? 30. What is 30 divided by 30? 1. Bum-ba-da-bum. Does everybody see it? But here's our rule. Always in math, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So we're going to multiply this side by 6/5. Ready? Here we go. What is 7 times 6? 42. What is 8 times 5? 40. So our answer is 42/40 divided by 1. What is 42/40 divided by 1? 42/40. Okay, here's another question. How many times can 40 go into 42? Once. With how many leftovers? 2/40 left over. So we can simplify it one more time. So the answer is 1 and 1/20. That's your answer. Okay? So the unit rate for the turtle can travel 1 and 1/20 of a mile in 1 hour. Okay? He can do 7/8 in 50 minutes, but he can travel 1 and 1/20 in a whole hour. This became hours, remember? Hour, miles. Does everybody see it? Okay, so that's how you do that problem. Okay? All right, I know it was a lot. I don't want you to get overwhelmed. I don't want you to get upset. Yes, this is difficult, but you have me to help you, and that's the most important thing to remember. Let's go back to the question of the lesson. How do you find the unit rate when the x value and the y value are fractions? What was the number one rule that we remember? How do you find the unit rate? Always find a common denominator and divide. So the way you find the unit rate is you take the y value divided by the x value, find a common denominator, and then divide. Okay? All right, kiddos, that was a tough one, but you did great. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later.